Okay, cool.
Hello, everyone. It's 5:15, Wednesday, the 7th of August. You're here talking business on a drive home with Glenis Gassmann, business breakthrough strategist for more customers, more profits. And today I want to welcome to the panel. We got Phil East from Profit Improvers. Hi, Phil. How are you going?
Hey, Glenis. Sensational. Yourself?
Oh, I am fabulous and getting better by the minute.
That's the go.
Okay, awesome. And we have Anna Petrarca, and Anna is from Aligning Minds. Anna, how are you going today?
I'm fantastic. I feel like I've been many people today.
Many people. I am sure we're going to find out a little bit about. I'm sure we're going to find out how many people you have been today as we go through the program, because tonight our theme is all around mindset. And so we're going to have a great little, 45 minutes. We're going to have a great chat with the three of us. So thank you so much for joining us. You know, we're coming to you live from Melbourne, all around, actually Victoria, really. And we're going to talk about mindset, why it's so important for business owners to get high performance in their business. And it all starts off with mindset, which is really incredible because most people think it's all through lead generation. But really, the mindset's got to come in first. So I'm gonna do something. We're gonna talk about that tonight. Anna's gonna share us all her tips and tricks and some techniques with us, so you get to walk away with something that you can actually put in place for tomorrow. So I'm gonna just introduce a little bit about what Anna does. So Anna works with business owners in around mindset. She helps them get performance at a new level. And so Anna, do you want to just tell me a little bit about that, expand on that a little bit just for our listeners tonight? A couple of minutes, yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Glenis. So what I do is I work with business owners who are wanting to, you know, we've used the word many a time when we've spoken, Glenis, about tuning up the mindset so that they can get to the next level in their business. Yeah. So when we say tune up, every time we want to get to another level, we can't be who we've been. You know, and you go through the same cycle that you had when you first started your business. So you get a bit uncomfortable. You might have some doubts. You have certain beliefs that are going on, and this all links to you know, your values, and it just goes through that cycle all over again. You tend to think, hang on, why is this happening? I've gotten to that next level. But even so, all business owners have the same experience and they have the same things happening in their business. So each time you're going to the next level or wherever you're at, you need to work on the mindset. So business owners tend to think that we need to get the strategy. So have you, Glenis and Phil coming on board first. But if we don't have the right mindset, if whatever we're choosing to believe, whatever we are thinking is what we're going to get. So if we have the doubts and the negative thoughts, then that we can't do it, for example, well, we're not going to be able to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, I totally resonate with that. And I'll tell you a little bit about a story about that from my own experience later on. But thanks, Anna. Thank you, because this is a little bit more of what's to come for the next 55 minutes. So Phil East from Profit Improvers. Phil works with mums and dads and retail and service businesses, and he helps them grow their business so they got more options around lifestyle for their families. And Phil is situated out east of Pakenham. So Phil, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit more about you, why mindset's so important in your business, in your area.
I suppose it's all about clearing the clutter and making sure that you're aware of what you're doing and probably being a bit positive. I know the strong businesses in my area, they all seem to have a growth mindset.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
They see opportunity everywhere. So instead of getting around and there's none of this and there's none of that, they're always actually seeing the opportunity and a glass half full, probably more 3/4 full. And they all have a win-win mindset. They're all about growing the pie, not just grabbing a couple more pieces of the same pie for themselves. So they want everyone to prosper when they're prospering themselves. So
love that.
Yeah,
it's excellent. And you know, when you said about clearing the clutter, and you know, one of the things that people think about when we talk about clearing the clutter is clearing physical clutter, but actually we have physical and mental clutter. And you know, one of the examples that I used to give out, you know, about 10 years ago in a business workshop that I used to run, is about clearing the clutter. And how I do explain it is like, you know, you finish work and you've got, oh, I've got to drive home, I've got to get the milk, got to get the bread, then I'm going to put the tea on, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And then just constant chatter that's going on in your head all the time, right? And it's like, and that not only did it used to do that on the way home, but on the way to work, when I went to sleep at night, it was, oh, I've got to do this, got to do this, got to. And I was like, my mindset was full on. And one of the things I learned early on in business life for me was really listening for what was going on in my head, and how I used to get rid of my clutter, so to speak, at night. And you may have already heard this before. I know I've told a lot of people, and that you just have, and like this was 10 years ago when we had notebooks rather than, you know, phones.
I like a notebook. I think it's important, sorry to interrupt, to write things down.
Yeah. Well, I used to tell them to, you know, write in a notebook, you know, I have that on the side of your bed. And then if you woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and had all of this stuff going on in your head, you would write it down. Whereas these days we've got smartphones. So, you know, we could just pick it up and put the note in the smartphone if we wanted to. But look, you know, one of the things that I really picked up early on in the piece for me was, you know, your mind is just like a filing cabinet, and it's like you have to clean it out from time to time. And if you don't clean it out, it gets messy. It could be even like your sock drawer or your undie drawer or something like that. You know, you've got to clean it out. Yeah. And for me, it's like, well, how often do you do that? For me, I see mindset tune-ups, and I have a laugh with Anna because I know Anna, and I say to her, oh, when are you going to tune up my mind again? Or, you know, when are you going to get someone to tune up? Because I think mindset tune-ups are a little bit like car services. Okay, so it's like you get your car service twice a year. That's what, you know, typically you get your car service twice a year. And why do we do that? Well, we want to change the oil, but we also want to pick up anything that could potentially be damaging for us. And I think that from a business owner point of view, this mindset, you know, going in and having a look at your mindset is not like a something you go and do if something's wrong. It's using it from a preventative point of view. And so I'm going to throw to Anna now, because you're going to tell us a little bit more about that. But for business owners out there, high performance will come from preventing anything happening. And, you know, mindset tune-ups are, you know, to me, quarterly, 6 monthly. I don't know, Anna, what's your experience?
So, look, you know, you were comparing it to a car service. So, I mean, I know my husband loves his car, you know, and in actual fact, he probably tunes it up quite often, you know, but we bring it in for a service. You bring it in for a service, you cut and polish it, you do all those things, and you want to make sure it's running well, it's running at top, you know, quite efficient, and it's powerful. So, and then you bring it in for a tune-up so you can maintain that level, don't you? So athletes are the same. So I'm going to compare them to athletes. Athletes, every time they go to the next level, they want to achieve more. They've got to go back into they've got to visualize what do they want. They've got to visualize then the self-talk that's going on. They've got to, before you can actually, for example, if you want to be wealthy, you've got to be abundant first. If you want that next level, you've got to plant that seed. That self-talk needs to happen. That's positive, as if it's already happened. So the same with a business owner. It's not about coming in when you've hit rock bottom. And sure, some people come in to me wanting a tune-up, and I compare it to one of my clients who said, you know, coming in for a tune-up, it's like getting that 1% each time, you know, stepping it up each time so that you are ready and rolling. You know, you're efficient, you're powerful, you're at top speed, you're working at your absolute ultimate, you know, and when you're at that, you've got clarity, you are decluttered, and you can make decisions. You're more creative. You know, you can problem solve in a better space. You know, so you do get to those other levels. Whereas if you wait too long, then it's not that you may not be doing it. You may be doing quite well, but you know, you've got all these you're waiting too long, so therefore we need more time to pick that up, because we can easily fall back, and our mind is one of those things. Look, I don't know about you. I heard what you said about yourself and the self-talk. And I mean, I sometimes have one person, then I sometimes have a group. Might have a football team that comes in and talks to me. It's like, oh, stop, you know? So it's like, hang on, pause. And I go, yep, okay, thank you very much. I know where I'm at. Okay, this is what I need to do.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. Because, Anna, there is a question in the Q&A panelists tonight. And it says, it's from Selena. Oh, hi, Selena. Thank you so much for being back on the call. I know that, you know, you were there the last couple of times. But Selena's got, how do you know when you need a tune-up, Anna?
Well, how do you know? You know, if you're starting to go a little bit off the wagon, or if you want it, you're thinking, you know, you have got ideas, you're doing quite well, you know, all those pressures comes with business. Is just like the stresses, you know, dealing with people, you know, financials, overwork, you know, all those hours. That's a given no matter where you're at in it. How you're managing it, if you're starting to, you could be losing sleep, you know, you could be, the doubts are starting to come in to go to that next, can I do it? You're starting to go down that path. It's time to move in. You know, you don't really want to wait till that, but as soon as you want to get to that next level, or you're starting to, if your day if you wake up the next day with the same sort of thoughts, the same sort of concerns, and it's repeating, well, we need to create some shifts and change. It's time.
Yeah, I got it.
Too long.
Or it could be when you have that football team talking to you in the head, hey, Phil, I'm going to introduce you a little bit now. So do you have a football team talking to you in your head?
Yeah, I think sometimes they're all sitting on the bench, whinging about why they can't get on the ground or why they don't. Yeah, so sometimes I have a few injured ones in there, but yeah, it's pretty hard to get them all kicking goals and working together to have a win. So it's pretty important to sort of tame them a bit. And,
exactly. But, you know, like as a business coach, Phil, you know, you and I both know that we deal with, you know, we're not just there growing people's businesses. We see people that come in and you can clearly see they need a mindset tune-up on their face, you know. What do you do with business owners like that? Do you send them to someone like Anna, or do you?
Yes, if they once it gets to a point, I deal in the basics just to get them going and see if they can get a shift. And sometimes that's enough, and then they move on, or they go and see Anna and get some more direct help. I think I always tell people to dress up and show up. So your mindset can change depending on what sort of clothes you've got on, and even some people with they work at home. Actually, just putting on your work clothes, even if you're not going anywhere, can change your attitude as to way you work. And
absolutely.
So,
yeah. So if I can answer that, Phil, what you're saying, I totally agree with, and I link that to, you know, like what I said before. If you want to be wealthy, you've got to feel abundant already. And so if we roll up, it's like anything. If you roll up to your workplace or to meet a client and you're not feeling great the way you're dressed, or you've got to present yourself. And so if you're in the home space, which, you know, there are many of us who are in the home space and then go out, you need to be present, prepare yourself so that you are in business mode, you know. So it's really important.
You got to show up like you're in the business. And of course, and you know, like there's a lot of other things that affect mindset too. And I want to talk to you a little bit about this, Anna, because we're in Victoria, and you know I'm from Queensland.
Yes.
And you know that, you know, we have lots of sunshine up there, so we don't have to take vitamin D supplements. But you know, like, you know, how do you do it? Like, it's really, I think it's really big down here for people to actually get happy, right? You know, and really like understand that you wake up and you go, right, how am I going to change the world today in my business? You know, and sometimes when you've got cloud and rain and stuff like that, you know, it's really hard to get yourself out there. What do you do? Okay. What do you do?
You know, well, I can tell you what I do. I'm very much, I've never been a runner. Okay. So, but I like to exercise. So the first thing I do in the morning, I always do a bit of meditation. it sets me up for the day. And I literally do it in bed, I have to say. And at times I can't. So I'll just be my, my PJs, get out, and I actually put on a headset and I do that. And then after that, I do some movement. So you can do any form of movement you choose, but I think it's really important to move. So I do some exercise. It doesn't matter how long, and whether you're stretching, whatever you're doing, I like to run. And even when because as you know, of recent times, I've had, a bit of a back issue, but I've still got up, I've walked and slowly paced my running, whatever it is you need to do. So it's really working on getting you mentally prepared, getting up when you don't feel like it. I have my stuff at the end of my bed. I put it on, and I tell you, it's been cold. And even this morning, I did not feel like doing it. But it's not about, people think it's about motivation. Motivation might be the first step. If it's to do with, you want to start an exercise regime, or you want to start a health, nutritious, whatever it is. I choose that one because most people understand that. It's, you've got a reason. I want to lose 5 kilos. I want to do this or that. But to maintain it, there's no motivation. It's getting up and doing it and committing. Make a commitment to yourself. And when you commit to yourself, you feel so good you've done it. And I like to do it in the morning. So it's really the meditation, the exercise, which is some sort of movement. And I always like to still do some learning, some growth for myself. So I do those things, and breathing throughout the day. I set an intention. What is my day? What am I choosing?
What are you choosing to do
about my day? How am I going to show up? What's going to be the best for me today? So you set an intention. And when it comes, and look, I could go on for 100 things, but I'll stop there. But at the end of the day, it's really important to have gratitude. And I do like to tone it down at night. And have a journal of some sort, write in it. Keep my thoughts, I write in it. So whatever shows up, so that I can keep track. What's been happening? Why has this occurred? What's going on for me right now? So I journal it. So
that's good. I love it. I do half of those things, and not all the time. But I've often heard people, and I know myself, how great I feel when I do something I don't want to do. It's like when you get up and you put your running shoes on and you go out and you walk. And for me, coming from Queensland, where I could get up at 5:30 in the morning, and it was like light, I've had to change stuff around. So what I do now is I'm out either between 12 and 2. So if I have an appointment at 12, it's 1 o'clock. I get out and I have my running shoes on. I go for my walk in the middle of the day now, rather than in the morning. But I still, when I get up in the morning, you're still getting up. It's a little bit chilly, but I'm still pacing up our passageway, and I still lift the weights, and I do things like that, so there's a little bit of movement. I
think that, it doesn't have to, everyone likes to exercise different times of the day. As you know, Glenis, and Phil, you don't know this, but you'll know it now. I'm an early bird, and I like doing it in the morning, because when it comes to the end of the day, I will do some stretches and movements and stuff like that, but I prefer doing it like that. But it's important to just get even just some stretching for movement in the morning. But I have to say, it took me quite some time to get into a bit of meditation and doing that. At first, you start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But if you just get onto it and get an app, I could, the Calm or Headspace, try them out. Just anything that gets you started.
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to do it. So good on you, Glenis.
Yeah. Hey, Phil, what do you do?
Well, I'm a fan of Mel Robbins' 5-second rule, and that helps me get out of bed sometimes.
That's a great one.
When it's just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it. And she says it only takes you 5 seconds to change your mind and not do something, or to do something different. So if you do it within those 5 seconds of when it comes to your mind, that'll help you. So sometimes being aware that you may be thinking, it's a bit cold, just doing it gets you up. Once you're up, it's harder to get back in bed. So that helps me get up. And I think there's a lot more around that, but that whole premise is quite good.
Yeah, so I think, I look at those sorts of things as daily stuff that we've got to do.
Absolutely.
But, as Anna was saying before, We don't want to wait until, you know, the wheels have fallen off the car, or, you know, we've got a hole in the diff, or, you know, there's oil leaking and stuff like that in the car. You know, getting your mindset checked on a regular basis to actually continue with that high performance. You know, I don't know, what do you think about quarterly? I mean, I was thinking 6 monthly before, but I'm now starting to think, you know, a couple of sessions every quarter would probably keep really high level of performance. I don't know, what do you think, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Anna? Yeah.
No, I'll let Phil go first. Go.
Well, I'm not too sure on how much of it you need to do. So that's, I think what Anna's mentioned about checking in with yourself every day through a bit of meditation, that will help as a ongoing, keep yourself as good as you can sort of thing, and looking after your motor. But probably when it comes to a tune-up, I'd take Anna's advice there. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah. Well, look, let me give you a client that I've had, okay? So she came to me because, and her business is interesting because she was a dancer and she moved into choreography, and each time she was stepping up. So she came to me not sure what she needed. So it was not a tune-up. It was a bit more deep than that to start with. And then from there, we went into tune-up mode. So we broke it down. It was monthly to start with, and then it started to be, so we just broke it down. So she'd been with me for about 2 years. So now she comes to me when she needs it, and it tends to be quarterly. Okay.
Yeah.
So she didn't come, she wasn't sure where she was at. She just knew she needed something was going on. So I would recommend quarterly, but you've got to check in with yourself, and also with whether it's me or whoever it is, the person that you are working with can gauge and support, and you can work it out together. You'll know where you need to be. So it's a matter of starting that, because I think that's really important. And I know that I haven't had a workshop for a while, but I know the few times that I had, people that they do pick up at things like, oh, I didn't know this. Why am I feeling this? You know, what is going on? So look, let's face it, in business, the way we show up, if there's something hanging, and even no matter how successful we are, it'll show up in our business. So in order to make the best decisions, to step it up, we need to decide, you know, we're not lone rangers. So, and I know for me, I can do so much for myself, but it's good for me to have someone else. And I've always, you know, had a mentor or a coach, you know, to help me to make sure that, because I can work on myself so far, but maybe, you know, the forest is sometimes in the way, you know, to get to the next level. Just like I have Glenis as my business strategist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always important to have somebody advising you on strategy, but it's also good to have somebody look into you and say, you know, Glenis,
Exactly.
I think, have you really checked in here? Have you checked in here? You know, so Anna, when it comes to businesses, how do people contact you? You know, should they just contact you on the RoB Academy Facebook group? There's a public group in there. If they ever want to, you know, contact you to, you know, work with you, like it can be on an ad hoc basis, or it could be on a program basis, something like that.
Sure. Yeah, so they can go on the RoB group if you like. Any of those are fine, or contact me at helloaligningminds.com.au.
Yeah.
Any of those are fine. Yeah, that'd be great. So they can contact me. We can have, you know, I offer a 20-minute clarifying chat, which is absolutely free. There's no obligation, and it's a great place to start to see if we can I help you? What is it that's going on?
Yeah, because unless they know what the problem is, you're not going to know whether you have a solution for them, I suppose.
That's right. And it's always a case of, you know, let's see how we're a fit as well, you know. We start from there.
So Phil, I have a question for you, because you're really regional, and you do a lot of your business coaching regional, and we all know that, you know, there's different things that happen in the regional Victoria than it happens in the city. There's different mindsets between, you know, country Victoria and in the city and things like that. What do you see as, you know, some of the major pitfalls around businesses in regional areas, and what they have to deal with a little bit differently to the city, you know, around mindset?
Well, at the moment, in my area, we've been in quite a significant drought for a fair period now. So I think the farmers themselves and their families are going through a lot of stuff that they can't control.
Yeah.
I always say, people, I've heard for years about a whinging farmer, and I don't actually think farmers are whingers. I actually think they're the most optimistic people in the world, and they have got a growth mindset, because every time they go and they put stuff in the ground or they take a chance on something, and so many things out of their control, they expect everything to go right.
Yep.
And when something doesn't, it messes up a whole lot of stuff. So I just think they expect things to go right all the time, which is great.
Those the most resilient people that I know, farmers and people that will work on the land. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So those things, I think it's not until something like that happens that we actually recognise how much the farming industry actually has on businesses within the towns, because they spend their money and they do. So there's that bit of a shift there, and so then people start getting a bit of doom and gloom in the town, because there's not as much money going around, and all of a sudden it's hard and can't get any of this because of that, and it's always something else. So sometimes just getting back and, as Anna mentioned before, looking for the good things in the day. If you look for about 5 or so every day, even if you can't think of anything, it helps just keep your opportunity mindset and your growth mindset open. So those external factors, that's something that's happening around us in my area right now. So there'll be others, but that's probably the main thing that's happening.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Anna, I know you might want to say something, but I also have a question from Josie who's on the line, and it's to you, Anna. What's your top tip for overcoming doubts?
Doubts. Look, doubts are highly linked to fear, I believe. So just you got to check in. Is this really, what are you doubting? Where have you succeeded before? What have you done that's worked? And how does this link to that? So why are you choosing? I think ask yourself some good questions, because I do check in with yourself. Where have you been successful? What is it that you're doubting? What have you done before to achieve this or not, depending what the doubt is. But I do think it's linked to fear. So fear to me is, okay, unless it's life-threatening, unless it's, fight, flight, run, take the action.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to say, Josie, I have this real common saying. It's like, if it's not going to kill you, take the action. It's like,
and we all have that different times for different things. Yeah. So, it's certainly linked to fear.
Yeah. So,
and,
Josie,
and it's not being good enough. So that thing of not being good enough. So, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of doubts and things that come up with pet businesses every day. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I employ this person? Talking about growth and abundance modes and things like that. This is also a really good opportunity for people. I'm not sure if you know, but Anna can actually come into your businesses and she can do group sessions, around mindset, team development and stuff like that as well. So, it really is a case of understanding, if you have a mindset challenge with one person, that's probably around a few other of your employees. And as businesses are scaling up and they're getting employees and things like that, it's really important to keep the leader's mindset, the business owner's mindset in top order. But also, if you need to get some level of consolidation amongst people and having a happy disposition and at work, because you never know what's going on at home. That's also an option where you can help out too, Anna. Yeah.
Oh, there's so many things I could talk about. Absolutely. And look, if something's going on at home, it's going to show up in your business in another form. And if you don't deal with it, it's usually the elephant in the room, and you know something's going on. It shows up either being stressed or the way you're reacting, or things. Oh, you're not achieving those financial targets. So that it shows up. And I've had this very thing occur with a client as well, and the very thing that as it came for one reason for the business, but we talked and dealt with it, it was really more about something that was going on at home that the person didn't want to face. Now, I can only do so much and we can work together, but if you absolutely refuse, there won't be a change. So you've got to be prepared to commit to the shift, because it can open up and clear the space amazingly when we deal with that very thing. And once that shifts and change, everything changes.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like, you know, you've got to be coachable. Isn't that right, Phil?
Absolutely.
That's right. As Jim Rohn says, for things to change for you, you have to change. So
yeah, absolutely. That's right. And then we have another, Phil, do you want to take that question that we've got in there? I think Joan's asking something.
Oh, this is probably something that Anna, again, you probably the best place for this. Jones.
What is it?
Jones asking, or saying, I struggle with meditation and my mind always wanders.
Okay, yeah.
Normal, or am I expecting too much?
Do you know what? It's actually normal. Look, when I first started, like some time ago, I was in and out of meditation because I thought I had to be a certain way. I had to be really still. Everything was perfect. It's not. You know, what it does, you get into a space. That's why I like people starting with calm or headspace, because it actually guides you just through your body. It makes you focus on different things. But different forms of meditation, you will hear people saying, allow the thoughts come in and out. It really is a place of you becoming a bit more grounded. And sometimes you'll have the best meditation session, and other times you'll have these thoughts and you'll wake up, you'll stand up feeling a bit different. But you'll notice the more you do it, the better you feel. Okay, it actually it's grounding. It's I think having a bit of patience. Start with 5 minutes. You know, I know a lot of people say you must do this much, must do that much. I don't agree. I think start with 5 and allow whatever comes. Just let it pass through. That's fine. Yeah.
Fantastic. And so, Phil, do you meditate?
I do. Sometimes it turns into a power nap. I don't know if I'm doing that properly.
I have that problem too. I really don't know how you meditate in bed, Anna, because that turns into a power nap for me.
You know what? You should. I don't recommend doing it in bed, because anyone who's starting out, you need to go and sit on a chair. You know, just sit up. You need to sit up. But can I just add something else about meditation?
Yeah.
Meditation is also when you're in flow with something. So if there's something that you love, that you get totally in flow, that is a form of meditation.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can do something like that to start with, start in any way it works for you. You know, and then of course in the middle of the day, I suggest breathing. Focus on your breathing, stop and breathe. And a little thing that someone mentioned to me once, and I took it on board. I went, oh, I love that one, because I believe in stopping and breathing when you're getting a bit stressed. There's a lot going on. You've got a lot of things. Who doesn't go to the bathroom? When you go to the bathroom, no one's there. You can stop. You can do the breathing.
You breathe. You don't heavy breathe in the bathroom, though.
So, you know,
just be breathing.
No, just counting, you know, in and slowing it, slowing the pace. And you
how many breaths do you do? How many breaths?
You can do 5. I wouldn't do more than 5 in.
Yeah.
And then concentrate on slowing it down. And then 4. And, you know, just back to 1. You know, just 5, out 5. Or 4 if you don't have as much time, but slowing it down.
Sounds good.
It's going to stop you in the bathroom. No one's, you know, hey.
That's excellent. Very good advice there. Very good advice. Got anything you want to ask Anna, Phil?
I haven't, but James he's had one in there for a while. He wants to know, and I think this relates to something you were talking about earlier, Anna. He wants to know why is it so important to write things down? I think you mentioned that earlier.
You've got to get them out of your head and write them down. And I think putting it on these tablets and stuff, I think it makes us more nervous to start with. But writing them down, first of all, for me, I love writing. And I find it very therapeutic.
Yeah, so
and
agree.
I think it's different to putting it in a tablet. And I'm going to suggest, Glenis, get off your phone when you write. When you go back to your notebook. You know, I do think it clears
good. Yeah.
And there's just something about writing that makes it. God, I don't even have the word, but there's a release.
Yeah.
And a letting go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And seriously, just keeping a journal, just writing things down, getting them out of your head, and you start to notice, because I think it's really important for us to observe our thoughts, because we have so many constantly going
I
in
know.
and out, and that creates, because if we keep focusing on a certain thought, it gets deleted, distorted, and generalized, and then it becomes into something bigger than what it is. So if we put them on paper and start observing, be the observer of our thoughts, we can start to create shifts and change. Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember doing a project. It would have been about 10 years ago now. It was a pretty big project, and it was a big community project, and it was all in my head. And then I thought, I have to get this out. And so I was resisting getting it out of my head, right? And then when I finally sat down in front of the computer and I just put it all out and organized it in a very logical way, which is what I do, and plan it and things. And I did all that in 2 hours. So literally in 2 hours, I had everything out of my head, the project organized, timeline, actions, milestones, the lot, all done. And I thought to myself, that's amazing. I thought that was going to take me 2 days, and it took me 2 hours, right? So the mind is such a powerful thing. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I want to wrap up a little bit about what we said, and then throw to you if there's anything else that we've missed for all the listeners here tonight. I just want to thank you all for being on the call. We have Anna Petrarca from Aligning Minds. She's going over mindset for us around business owners. And we've also got Phyllis from Profit Improvers, and he looks after all those important businesses out in the regional areas in Victoria and around Australia, but typically he's in that area. So mindset for business owners is really, really important if you want high performance. And it's not that you want to go and get your mind looked at from you don't wait until you're broken, like until you lose sleep. You don't wait until you're feeling stressed. You actually are doing this on a regular basis. And, it could be quarterly, it could be 6 monthly, whatever you need. Yeah. It could be monthly. But, there are benefits of being able to talk to somebody else that's, a further enough distance away from you so that they can actually create something new for you to get to the new level. And, of course, there are things, we've been talking about things that you can do at home on a daily basis, morning and night. We're talking about meditation at night. We're talking about writing things down in the middle of the day, going to the toilet so no one's going to interrupt you, and then having some breathing. And, of course, doing some moving in the morning as well. And all of this sort of stuff really gets your mind into that happy zone, or that zone where, if anything does come up, you're not going to let it get to you. And I know as a business strategist, and I know Phil would agree with me, is that when we're working with business owners who have a healthy mindset, then they get performance in their business at 10 times what other businesses get, because they take the actions. Because when your mind is clogged up and when you haven't cleared that clutter, you don't take the actions. Or like what Josie asked about, how do you deal with doubt? How do we deal with doubt? Well, we have to go look at where that's come from. But typically, if it's not going to kill you, you take the action, right? Yeah. So that's sort of where I'm sort of feeling we've got to today. Is there anything more you want to add, Anna or Phil, for all of our listeners around healthy mindset, for a healthy business? When are we going to get tuned up? Yeah, over to you guys.
Look, all I can say is, as I could talk forever, but I'll just say one thing. Clarity of vision is really important. So in order to have that, your mind needs to be clear. You need to declutter. You need to clear that block that's holding you back for the next level, or whatever's going on for you. It doesn't have to be some major thing. And once you have that clarity of vision and you become more creative, you are in a calmer space, then you can go to people like you Glenis and Phil, and do those business strategies, because I do believe exactly what you said, Glenis, that you need to start the other way around. Most people think, and especially business owners, that it's all about the action. Well, yes, we must take action, and you're the first to and so is Phil, I'm sure, go do the action, you know. At the same time, if we don't work on our mind, we're not going to keep moving forward. So it needs to be from the inside out. That's my huge belief.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. What about you, Phil?
Just two things, Glenis. All the things that and the great strategies, stretching, walking, journaling, breathing, checking in. As we said, they're all easy to do, but things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. So we just have to make sure that we're consistent and use our discipline that we have and get there. And number two, Glenis, this one's probably more for you. It might help with your mindset. Billy Connolly said, there is no such thing as bad weather, just the wrong climate.
That's the wrong clothing. I got it.
You just need to embrace what's happening in Melbourne.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I love it because I got to actually add to my boots wardrobe and my boots, my scarves, my hats, and my coats. You know, literally, I love it, you know.
Look, Glenis, I have to say, I was a sight for sore eyes this morning, so lots of layers. So.
Actually, I reckon this morning felt a little bit like spring. I don't know about you, but
it was quite balmy this morning.
I thought it was quite cold.
Did you say balmy, Phil?
Oh, it was about 9 or 10 degrees this morning. It was about miles out.
Hey, now look, there's I just want to also let everybody know, if you know anyone that might need some help with their mindset, you know, maybe you're seeing them as stressed, you've got a bit of anxiety. What other sorts of symptoms, Anna, that you may see somebody with?
Well, yeah, a bit stressed or talking about in the negative and constantly sort of you're hearing them not be so happy. There's things that are constantly repeated or over time. So that can lead to a lot deeper things. So that's when they need to come in. So the stress, the anxiety, the indecisiveness becomes feeling like you have lack of choice, starting to second guess yourself.
Yeah.
You know? They're all signs that, hey, okay, it's time to go in and speak to someone. And it's good to have someone to bounce off and to support you as well. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
So if you do know anyone, for listeners out there that do know that somebody that may need some help, jump on the RoB Academy and so RoB Academy Facebook group. It's a public Facebook group, and you will find Anna there. Send her a message. Anna will be able to help you, or if she can't, she'll be putting you in touch with someone who can. And look, next, I want to thank you, Anna. You've been like just so much insight as to what you can do just help yourself. I never thought of half of those things, and all your stories and that's been really great. So Anna Petrarca from Aligning Minds, you want to get in touch with her, just check her out on the Facebook, RoB Academy, Referrals Over Breakfast Facebook group. Public Facebook group. Okay. Yeah. So thank you for being with us tonight. Phil, do you want to say something?
I'd just like to say thanks, Anna. It's been great. Thanks, Glenis. And if anyone needs to get in touch with me, just go to Profit Improver.
Profit Improvers. If you want the Profit Improver. And next week we're going to be talking numbers.
Oh, I love numbers.
I'm going to talk numbers and how you need to love your numbers to make profit, right? Okay. We've got Josie from Solo Point for next week. So once again, thank you both very much. It's been great.
Thank you, Glenis, and thank you, Phil, as well. That's been great.
Awesome. All righty. Well, we'll see you next week. Talk to you later.
Thank you. Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Ciao.